So we are the Mizell Show, and Alanna has a lot
Ended with one of the most emotional ends ever.
Yes, so Alanna
I tried to keep it together.
She tried to. Alanna has many hidden talents, but we're going to let you guys hear a little bit more from her today, and I think you will enjoy it.
A little lyrical motivation.
Check it out.
Perfect.
Welcome to the Mizell Show.
An inspiration for a new generation.
Hi, I'm Alanna Mizell, a loving mother of two, a devoted wife to Steven, and an entrepreneur helping women realize their dreams and potential.
And I'm Steven Mizell, caring father of two, a devoted husband to Alanna, and a driving force to help young men prepare for life after college football.
And if that wasn't enough, we're a biracial couple.
She was raised in the North, but I was raised in the South.
The only thing normal about our lives, who am I kidding? It's never normal around here. Join us for the Mizell Show.
Right now. Wait. Pause for what?
I have another question.
Well, we're live now, so ask the question.
Ooh.
Mizell Show is back.
We're back, and our dog always seems to think that it's time to play as soon as we get in.
Quick PSA on Mizell Show. We are still looking for a house.
Still, so if you want to sell your house to us for a normal price,
and
not extremely overpriced,
yes,
we're open.
Just let us know. When I first met Alanna a few moons ago, I was very thrown off of her facet of music, country music. I was kind of blown away. So I'd like to think that
a northern girl?
Northern girl loving country. I like to think that I opened her eyes to
what?
To rap music.
No, you didn't.
I don't think she knew rap before me.
No, you didn't.
Did you know 3 6 Mafia?
Yes.
No, you did not.
I went to the University of Memphis. Yes, I knew who 3 6 Mafia was.
In high school.
Yes.
Name one song.
I can't name one song now. Nor do I care to. But that's not the epitome of rap music.
Oh yeah, it is.
No,
okay,
my sister and I had Salt and Pepper memorized.
That's not rap. That's like hip hop. It's like you can't classify Salt and Pepper as rap.
But you can't say that you put me on rap when I went to the U of M.
Just because you went to the U of M, that means they put you on rap?
No, you most certainly did not.
I think I opened your eyes.
I knew Green Monster long before you.
Who's Green Monster?
Nicki and Kanye.
It's not Green Monster.
It's just Monster.
It's just
the Green Monster is Boston.
See, no,
don't.
All this to be said is that
you just made me sound foolish. I've known rap music before you.
All I'm saying, have I not opened your eyes to some new artists?
Have I not opened your eyes to some new artists?
You're not.
Ooh.
Jeez. I was just saying that I opened your eyes. You made it seem like I was...
You made me sound like I had no musical taste before I met you.
Maybe you didn't. Did you?
Are you serious right now?
Are we recording this? Oh, all this to
I'm so sorry. We've got to cut this short because Steven thinks that he essentially made my life come true by meeting him.
No, I didn't see all that.
I was just nothing before you. My life is now.
Oh my goodness! So now I was trying to say I opened your eyes to some new music, and that you opened my eyes to some new music.
Like what?
Like Macklemore. I was on Macklemore thrift shop, the fun-loving Macklemore. Till you come home that day.
You knew only thrift shop.
I knew Wings too. I really liked Wings. Wings was a good song too.
And you knew some of the Gemini album. Glorious. It was one of his biggest songs.
Yeah, I mean, so Macklemore and Ryan Lewis, hip hop artists from Seattle.
Ryan Lewis is from
Ryan Lewis, Macklemore, Seattle. So I heard him. And everybody knows the Thrift Shop song. And then it kind of opens your eyes. And maybe I should listen to the album. Maybe not. I don't like them. But then Alanna, unpacks some things that I'd never heard before on the album. She's like, you really listen to this? I'm like, no.
On the Gemini album.
But then also The Heist.
The Heist is a
Heist is
tricky
my favorite
album. He's got some
punchers on Heist.
I can't remember which album it is because I listened to them all. There's one called White Privilege, and it's so good. There's also one called Wednesday Morning, and it's about...
Neon Cathedral was very...
Yep, Neon Cathedral.
Yeah.
Kevin.
Ooh, Kevin's
Kevin's about an overdose, a friend of that overdosed. Wednesday Morning is about the morning after
Trump got elected.
A presidential candidate gets elected.
Yeah.
So it's just talking generalities.
Yeah.
I don't remember what year it came out. I think it was saying, hypothetically speaking, no matter which candidate in that election, Wednesday morning is going to be hard. I think ultimately is what he was saying there. But like a lot of people just listen to Macklemore and like, cause he's got some great beats. But like if you actually look at his lyrics, he's a lyricist.
He is a lyricist, and he spits some things, and he doesn't hold it back. Cause even my song Wings that I really like, he really talks about Nike and the misconception of the youth and how they follow it. And he's a really good artist. So I think a lot of times people get caught up in the I could call it like hip hop for play. So something that catches the top 40, something that people spin on the radio or your top 10. They don't ever
even
dive
if
into
you think
it.
about like ultimately what Thrift Shop is actually trying to say is like stop spending money on all these other things and go to the thrift shop. That's actually what the song is about.
Yeah, that's true.
Like you're spending too much money on
a t-shirt.
Stuff that's not even good.
Yeah, no, that's true.
And now I have that song stuck in my head. What?
No, yeah. Sorry.
I mean, but the same with like Glorious.
Yeah.
It's about like essentially like a phoenix rising from the ashes.
Yeah.
But people just listen to the song because it was on pop radio.
And it's a good song, but
it is a good song.
Yeah.
But like, it just has so much more depth than that.
Yes. A lot of his songs have some of depth. So one song that really stuck with you through our last, just hit heavy.
Yeah.
Is a song that probably flies under the radar. Like if you were to tell somebody, hey, listen to Macklemore, they might be able to say 10 songs, but this song would not be in their top 10.
What's interesting is, so I've done a few speaking engagements on a specific song. It's called Excavate.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's been 3, 4, maybe 4 speaking engagements on it so far. And it's a song that is near and dear to my heart and very easily depicts the struggle with anxiety and depression and kind of coming out from it. And it doesn't actually articulate coming out from it at all. But like I use it to kind of portray that.
Yeah.
But a couple times people have been like, oh yeah, I listen to Macklemore. I'm a super huge fan of his. And I'm like, oh, have you heard the song Excavate? And they're like, no.
No.
And I'm like, you're not a super huge fan? You liar.
You liar. Yeah. You don't. And that's
no, not true. Because I'm sure I would say I'm a pretty big fan of Macklemore, but I don't have every song title memorized.
No. But you've dug into his song. So when you first heard this song in the gym, which I'm just assuming is the first time you probably like really listened to it. Yeah, did it hit you instantly, or you like listened to it in the car going home and had to replay it?
No, I know exactly where I was. I was on.
Were you doing a hip thrust, or were you squatting?
No, I was on the treadmill. I was on the third treadmill in ATC Fitness in East Memphis.
Incline?
Yeah, okay. I was on an incline, and I have a full Macklemore playlist. Like I just added all of his albums.
We did.
Even the Ryan Lewis ones, like that are in a separate. You got to search for them separately. They're all in there. And it came on, and I had heard it. No, you know what? I don't know that I had heard it because I don't think I had moved all of the Gemini album over. Like if you click top tracks, it wouldn't play.
No.
So you'd have to move the whole album.
Move the whole album, yeah.
I don't think I had heard it before, but like it was super slow, and I remember turning it up because the very beginning is very somber, and I was like, "What is this?" And then all of a sudden, it just hit me because it starts by saying, if I read the world my notebook with these thoughts in it, would they love me or judge me?
Ooh.
And whether you're listening to a song or not, I'm just going to say it again. If I read the world my notebook with these thoughts in it, would they love me or judge me? And I heard it at a time that I had kind of started to struggle just with like what's the word I'm looking for? Imposter syndrome.
Yes.
So imposter syndrome on social networks, on being a stay-at-home mom, on making money for my family, on having people believe that I was making enough money in comparison to what I was making before, yada, yada, yada. And like my journals did not dictate what I was sharing with the world. And so if they read this notebook with these thoughts in it, would they love me or judge me? And it came at a point, it was just after a leadership retreat. Mm-hmm. That was fine. It's just hard when you have a room full of, strong female leaders.
Yeah.
All at the same place, all with different viewpoints. I've just never done great with an all-female environment.
Yeah.
And just figuring out where you fit in. You didn't know that many people. I came back home and was just like, who am I? Mm-hmm. Like, what is this person? Where am I going? Do I even want to go back to that environment? And honestly, it was no, but what do I do?
Yeah.
So the they in that is kind of had a couple pieces to it. They is, the people that I was on the trip with. They is who I think I'm supposed to be. But also they, for me, in that same workout, I had just done some squats and looked at the size of my thighs. And I don't typically wear shorts. I know exactly what I was wearing. I don't typically wear shorts. And I looked at my thighs and I was like, wow, those are so big. And I remember when I was 15, the guy that I was dating said, I'm so glad that the cellulite on the back of your thighs is gone.
Wait,
First
what?
of all, why am I dating when I'm 15? Second
That's
of all,
never going to happen.
Like, number one,
nope,
not happening.
Swerve.
But like, who says that to somebody? And obviously, I was 31 at the time, or about to be 31. It was 15 years later, 16 years later.
And still with
me.
Still with you.
Enough to where I don't really like to wear shorts. Like, I'd never thought about wearing shorts before that. Mm-hmm. It was no big deal.
Yeah.
Because I wore them all the time playing softball and field hockey and stuff. And then that was like a huge thing.
Yeah.
And so, but in that moment, the same thing with like thinking over your thoughts, would they love me or judge me? The other part of it is taking those thoughts and transforming them. Because he's talking about excavating your pain is ultimately what he's saying. He's like, okay, now you've seen a pain point. And my brain was saying I should be better. They should look better. First of all, I'm comparing to a 15-year-old.
Yeah.
Like, get a grip.
Yes.
The 15-year-old didn't have 2 kids, hadn't lived 16 more years, didn't have a husband, wasn't taking care of herself the way that I am now, and. Like, get a grip. But at the same time, don't we do that all the time?
Yeah. I think we all have pain points in our lives that sometimes you don't even know it's there until a moment happens and you're like, oh, swerve. That is still lingering and I have not worked on that.
Well, and like, I think one of the biggest things is I was thinking I should be better. Like, my legs should look better. And anytime you hear should, you're giving yourself shame. And all that shame does is shame begets shame. So the more you live in your shame, the more it's going to grow. But like, if you call it out, now I don't look at my legs and be like, oh, look at the cellulite. I look at my legs and like, do I want it to go down? Yeah, but for no other reason than showing that I have more strength, not because my 15-year-old self didn't have it anymore. But if I had just lived in it, then I would still be nervous of a 15-year-old day.
Yeah.
So it's just, anyway, so then the song goes into ultimately what his greatest achievement would be. He says, my greatest achievement isn't the dollars. My greatest achievement isn't the followers. My greatest achievement isn't the accolades. My greatest achievement is my daughter.
Ooh.
That's what he says. He literally says,
yes,
none of y'all matter.
Yeah.
And in the moment of where I'm struggling with, social media persona, who am I, stay-at-home mom, like, what's happening? I'm making enough money. Am I not? Ad nauseum. Oh, I need to go to Target and buy all these things that everybody else already has. I'm behind the times. He pretty much gives you a sucker punch straight to the gut.
Yeah.
And says none of those matter.
So when did you realize, or as you still maybe realize, that none of these things matter? Like, how have you worked through to see that? I
think in that song, when you really listen to it, like when you're already in the zone, like I was zoned. And the song came on, and I was like, Steven, listen to this song.
Yes.
And he's like, I cannot listen to this right now the way you want me to, which is usually how it happens. Yeah. And So I think there was a big point of it that when you're really in the zone, you get snapped back to reality. When you really hear, my greatest achievement isn't the dollars. My greatest achievement isn't the followers. My greatest achievement isn't the accolades. Like, isn't that what most of us have built our entire lives on?
Yeah.
Money, other people.
Status.
Accolades. How many people still bring up their championship game or the fact that they should have won the championship game in high school, but they lost
that
it?
Time when we did
or
this, yeah.
right, yeah, you know, when I was in Pee Wee football, I used to be able to throw it down the field, you know.
Yeah.
And my friend so and so, you know how he went to such and such. Like, that's 45 years ago. That's an accolade that you don't even carry anymore. Nobody cares.
Yeah.
Like, is your greatest achievement that accolade so much so that you've got to continue to bring it up? That you feel so much shame that you didn't actually achieve anything in your sports life? That your greatest achievement should be and can be your children?
Yeah.
And your generational wealth that you're building in them? Like, that's what he's talking about.
Yeah.
He's talking about that his depression and anxiety has gotten so bad because he's so heavily consumed in the idea of what other people will say if they read his notebook. And the idea of what other people will do if they don't give him enough accolades. And the idea of all the money that he doesn't have. That he's forgetting that the truest thing and the truest greatest achievement that we can all have is our kids. And our family.
Our family.
And, like, it reminds me of the movie Coco when they're doing the pictures on the ofrenda.
Yeah.
You know, in, like, Mexican culture in general. There's so much trueness in how they represent their family.
Yeah.
But, like, to do that, you have to actually excavate out the other pain that everybody else has caused you.
Mm-hmm. And be able to focus in on... But don't you feel like that's so hard in the time...
Oh, it's so freaking hard.
Yeah.
Like, hard isn't even a strong enough word.
Yeah.
It honestly feels like you're treading water as a stream is going down and you're about to hit a waterfall at any second. And every once in a while, a tree limb comes by that you can hold on to. But you're still treading water. Like, it's still coming.
Yeah, it's still coming.
I mean, it's impossible. It's impossible not to. So you asked me when I first noticed it. Mm-hmm. Well, it was then. But how many times have I had to re-listen to that song and bring it back? Hundreds.
Yeah.
Hundreds of times.
Did you know that I sell makeup? Not only do I sell makeup, but the makeup that I sell is 3D makeup, which allows you to highlight and contour your face in a super simple compact. As a mom, I could not survive without my simplified routine. Not only that, but it's exactly what you need. Exactly when you need it, all in one spot. Go ahead and check out Alanna Mizell on Instagram or alannamizell.com to learn more.
You guys, I love this song so much so that Excavate is literally tattooed on my arm.
You got Excavate tattooed on your arm.
Literally.
But that song has brought so much
clarity,
joy, frustration, clarity to you.
Yeah.
And it's something that is monumental to you. You've also been able to go and share that message to now probably over 1,000+ people and hear you
crazy.
be able to speak and speak on that. But why do you think people avoid excavating their pain?
Because it hurts. So I think that one of the things that I realized through working on mine and then reworking and then working again is that, okay, imagine you had a really bad scar. Like really bad.
Yeah.
And say it was a piece of glass that went into your forearm.
Yeah.
Let's do this whole depiction. Piece of glass went into your forearm. It came out. You got it out. You even had to use tweezers to get out the little fine pieces of glass because it came so hard at your forearm. And you think that you need stitches, but you don't really want to go to the doctor to get stitches. So what do? You put a butterfly bandage on it, hope for the best.
Yeah.
It's still bleeding days later, but it's starting to harden up. So then a couple years later, you're swimming. You're doing the breaststroke, and all of a sudden your forearm starts to hurt you. Or when it's raining out, you get like an aching pain in it because you probably should have had it sewn up. And there may be some flesh wounds still underneath there.
Yeah.
But you're not totally sure because you never had a doctor look at it. So it's hurting so bad. And you're trying to train for a triathlon.
Yeah.
It's hurting so bad. And that's your limiting factor. Is this glass shard that was in your arm that you didn't have it healed correctly. And now, for you to actually achieve that triathlon, this big goal that you have for yourself, that you know you can do, and would actually narrate who you want to be, and what your greatest achievement might be, what your biggest accolade, truest to yourself might be, that's what's holding you back. You go to the doctor and you find out there's actually glass in there. What do they have to do?
They open you up.
They got to cut it back up. For you to be able to heal and complete your triathlon, they have to open your arm back up, take the glass out. That's healing from shame. That's excavating your pain. In a literal sense, that's what would happen. In a figurative sense, we have that as small little markers all along our lives. And the more you do it, the more you try to swim as a triathlete, and it continues to hurt, it rains harder, you get older, the more it packs on top of itself. That little piece of glass is now swimming further down in your forearm because you haven't actually taken care of it the way it needed to be. The harder it's going to be to get out.
Get into something else too, like you just.
What if it ends up getting stuck in your bone?
Yeah.
And then you have a glass and a bone fragment. Then what?
I think that's probably the most vivid description you've ever given.
But that is excavating your pain.
That's definitely it.
It's deciding for you to finish the triathlon. You have to say, okay, doctor, I'm ready for you to open that up. Although I know the healing may take my triathlon to have to be pushed back.
Yeah.
When I can finally achieve it and I can breathe at the end of my race and feel at peace with myself.
Yeah.
I will feel so much better, although the healing I know will take longer. That is like to the bone and to this exact analogy, that is excavating out your pain. But golly, you know it's coming. Yeah. You know the doctor's going to have to cut open your arm. You remember how painful it was the first time it healed. And now he's saying it's going to hurt worse. But I promise you, long term,
once you heal,
it won't hurt as bad.
It's bad.
You'll be able to swim.
And you'll be able to.
You'll stop treading water so much. Those branches will be in that river. You'll be further away from the waterfall.
Because you're swimming now.
Because you're able to swim and tread. That is excavating out your pain.
Yeah.
All of it. From the cellulite on the back of your legs to why are you even trying to reach this insane accolade working 80 plus hours a week, which was me at one time.
Yeah, that was you.
I hit a rank with saying that the top 0.5% in leadership. It was the last day in July. Steven arranged for the kids to be at Granny's. I hit it at 9-something at night. One of my other friends calls me, and she's like, "You did it." Felt nothing. Why? It wasn't my goal.
No. Yeah.
No pain had been excavated out from that. It wasn't my goal. So, I mean, what do you do with it?
What do you do with it? Yeah.
Literally, like, what do you do with it? And so, in the song Excavate, Macklemore continues to go on, and kind of throughout it, you hear this phrase, "But I've found peace." And it's like, but just keep going. But just keep going. Like, I've found peace. Like, you can too. You can heal from your forearm injury. Although we've got to cut it back open. It can heal. And so then he says, "Hold me up into the light. Study every part of me. Sometimes I'm hard to read. Who am I when they cut the lights and nobody's watching me?" It's like, who are you when they cut the lights? And the way he's talking about it is in a death, like mirroring death. Because he also talks about a blue hearse going around his city. And it's more so him thinking about how I don't have much road left. Like, I'm towards sort of the endish of my life. He's not middle-aged at the time that he wrote this. I can't remember how old he is now. But that's not really what he's talking about. What he's talking about is that he's in so much depression that he's probably thought about killing himself a time or two.
Yeah.
And my greatest achievement needs to be my daughter. But at the same time, I'm actually thinking about this blue hearse and how I would do at my funeral. And then what would happen if they cut the lights and nobody was watching him? Nobody was around. What would he do? So then he says, hold me up into the light. Study every part of me. I'm an open book. No, I don't mind. Sometimes I'm hard to read. And so when I do this speaking engagement, I do it with a white envelope.
Yeah.
And then there's a dollar bill inside. Most of the time I steal it from Adele. And the reason being, I think everybody can see that imagery of holding up a white envelope and being able to see through it.
Yeah.
But like not get a clear picture. Like you couldn't draw that dollar bill. Although you have like frame of reference. You really can't draw it. And so many people live their lives like the white envelope. But what you're really wanting is for somebody to open it up and dig that dollar out. Or what you need is to take that dollar and dig it out.
Yeah.
And I always go into the significance and the connection to a dollar. So a dollar, if folded in half and ripped, does it still equal the same amount?
Yes.
It does. So a lot of people, when I do this engagement, they go, no, it's not worth anything. That's not true.
Still worth
So
it,
if you were folded in half, is your value still innately equal 1?
Yes.
Yes. Because you get ripped in half, nothing changes about what you are valued at. Which is so beautiful to think about.
Yeah.
And then also on the dollar can actually get folded 4,000 times before it rips. It's one of the most durable things that the United States has ever made. But like, aren't you one of the most durable things that God has ever made? Made in the image of his only son? If you talk about durability, think about all the things that Christ went through. Before he went to the cross, he fasted for 40 days and 40 nights and then was tempted by Satan. And still said to the Heavenly Father, not my will, but your will be done. I don't want to do this if I don't have to. A man that surely was folded 4,000 times, and at the end of the day, still said, have your way with me, God, exactly how you want.
But the imagery is so beautiful because so many people listening or out there right now feel like they're being folded and pulled in so many directions.
Oh my gosh,
and they think that their value is dropping, but it's not. You are still that same person made in the image of Christ, and you have the strength to be able to,
Right. But nobody can decide that.
But you.
But yourself.
Yourself, yes.
And if you're having feelings as if you've been torn in half and that you are no longer valued, at one, I would challenge you to go see a therapist and get help. Reach out to a friend who you are willing to let see you beyond the envelope.
Yeah.
The other thing on dollars, there are 13 13s. Originally founded for the 13 colonies. But I like to think of them as 13 stopping points on your journey. 13 times in which you could have stayed there, but you've chosen to turn and pivot to the next 13. Another thing I love about the dollar is there's a little barcode on it. The first letter is an insignia of where the dollar was printed. Just like you have a social security number. The first 3 say what state you were born in. But where does the dollar go next?
After it's printed?
After it's printed, where does it go?
I mean, doesn't it go to the treasury, then the
Which
bank?
one?
I don't know.
You have no idea.
You have no idea.
It doesn't. There's no stamp on that dollar
To say where you've been.
saying where you've been next. So the only stamp that the world has on you is your social security number when you were originally born. From there, nobody can actually say exactly where you were next. So why are we letting other people dictate where our next step is if you can't even determine where your last step was? Or you can't determine where the dollar originally came from after it left the factory?
Yeah.
Why are we letting other people dictate our next 13 if they don't know where their last 13 was? But that's what we're trying to achieve.
Yes.
My absolute favorite thing on a dollar is that the top of the pyramid has no top.
Yeah.
And the imagery is not anything other than old masonry and having the underground of our founding fathers. That's another topic for a whole nother day and a couple Dan Brown books. But I see it as there's not a top on your pyramid unless you put it there.
Ooh.
And that's what Macklemore is essentially talking about. He's in immense pain, in depression, realizing he's got to excavate out his pain to be able to heal. I only have so much road left. I've got to do this because my followers, my accolades don't matter anymore. What matters is my daughter is my greatest achievement. I've got to do this. And he's saying, my pyramid is about to close if I don't do this now.
Yeah.
So that's like, it is one of the most powerful songs to me.
It is.
Clearly.
Clearly. And that's why I wanted you to talk about it and just to hear your beautiful imagery and working through the song and letting our people and listeners know that there is beauty out there.
Yeah.
There's also beauty in themselves. And there's beauty in excavating. I think one of my favorite parts about it is that there's so many people that walk through this life with pain and can do the triathlon. They think that they've reached their peak. Yeah. But they have no idea how that triathlon would feel or that next thing would feel if they had to work through that pain and that real sense of joy. But some of us are living with that false sense of, I did this. This is great. But like you said, you were still empty after you got that piece. Yeah. And so you train and you train and you train and you get the trophy. You're just like empty because of that. Or the job promotion, or you and we're not going to say names, but we have friends that are chasing jobs or getting career changes, and we text each other like, where did that come from? And it's just like, we don't know. And they're
that, and I also think it's important for people to really sit and think about how powerful their mind is. So for me, I excavate out my emotional pain, but one pain that I hadn't excavated out, I had a 17-year-old hip injury and finally started to go to a physical therapist for it. My motion was great. I had a doctor tell me I probably need a hip replacement by the time I'm 40. But the reality was I needed to excavate out the pain and continuously have my mind tell my right hip it's okay. Yeah. It's fine. Yeah. It's literally so sensitive over 17 years that I have to totally overpower it mentally while doing a workout. Mm-hmm. But that's what you have to do. You have to overpower yourself mentally to realize that there is so much pain up underneath that you have to heal from first before you can ever carry on. And we're dropping the mic. That's it. It's a lot. I mean, it's a lot to unpack. And it's an all-encompassing reality. It's mental, it's emotional, it's physical, and it's a journey. It's long, but I have found that each step of the way, there's a level of peace. And I think that's why Macklemore throughout his song says, but I found peace. Because it's woven throughout. Yeah. Knowing that there's going to be some of it every step. But also, you guys, we talk a lot about heavy stuff, anxiety and depression. If you need help, please reach out and get help. Don't stay. Don't think, no, these are normal thoughts. You know what? They might be. But let somebody else be the dictator and the narrator of if it's normal or not.
Yes, and feel free to reach out to us. And we appreciate you guys listening. And you also got a glimpse into Alanna's, one of her many hidden abilities in breaking down song lyrics and being able to talk through it. So I'm going to talk to my co-producer to see if we can make this a monthly thing and see if we can find some songs and let you guys have a different... we could find some songs. We could find some good songs. So
I think that Macklemore needs to start paying me some cheddar.
Maybe. I don't know.
No,
it's just fun because it puts more pressure on it.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
You know?
Guys, I also want to say I didn't just get excavated tattooed on my arm. It was in a time in mine and Steven's life that, in our marriage, that was a monumental time. Yep. And it was actually written by the woman who had postpartum depression and had articulated it so much to me that I knew I could turn to her when mine struck. And she had excavated her pain. So she wrote it down for me. She has beautiful penmanship. I didn't tell her that I was going to get it tattooed on my body until after it was already there. But it's just the resemblance of it all and the reality that there is somebody there to help you begin the process of excavating out, that you can let see the dollar inside your plain white envelope. And you don't have to do it alone.
And this is the Mizell Show. And we appreciate you guys. Enjoy the day.
So if you guys are enjoying this, definitely leave us a review. Give us the feedback. If there's something you guys want us to talk about, reach out to us on our website at themizellshow.com. There is a contact section. You can put it in there. We would love to hear about it. Or you can always go over to Instagram at The Mizell Show. Also, as always, don't forget to screenshot this episode and just add it to your stories and tag us on Instagram, on Facebook at The Mizell Show. Thanks, guys. Are you loving The Mizell Show? Well, we love you all. And did you know that you can have me and Steven talk to your team or a group of 25 of your friends? All it takes is 25 people showing up on either a Zoom call, a Facebook Live, or really anywhere. Hopefully in person sooner rather than later. But how do you get us? So all you have to do is email themizellshow@gmail.com, or you can direct message us on Instagram @themizellshow.